We are live. All right, there was no
Hey
delay
man,
that time.
there was no
Congratulations.
delay. I had it ready. Well, I was waiting for you for like 17 minutes to bring everything in after your podcast with your son yesterday. Which listen. I'm gonna be honest about this. I'm kind of upset you didn't call it son and a half because it was a great name. Because you're half the size most men are. You know what I mean? Great dad. Give you number credit. You're an amazing friend, but your stature is what it is, right? Like all these things are facts. So you had your first episode with your son out of control, out of CTRL.
Yeah,
How'd it go, man?
it went well. You know, we when we did that episode with him, which I yet to upload, I'll get to it one day.
Yes.
Uh, and it was a
Yeah,
good one. We talked anime. We talked stuff that we both were, like weren't really too knowledgeable on. Maybe me more than you,
yep,
but anyway,
for sure.
he had a struggle at the beginning, right? He didn't know what to say. I don't know if he kind of froze up. And so on this one, the focus was on like just everyday conversations, right? We're talking about what we did for the week, but I wanted
Hmm.
him to speak more, to just be himself, let his personality kind of show, and I would just
Right.
play the part of kind of keeping the conversation going. So if I
Hmm.
found a spot that he was going to get stuck or he was starting to look like he was freezing up, then I was just there to kind of feed him the next line or just help him along, help him with what I thought his,
Right. Right. Right.
wherever his thought was going. So, but it went well. Like we did. I don't know if you heard Mel when she came in. She asked how long the show went, and we did about 52 minutes. So she said, "What?"
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he had no trouble. Like once he got going, it was pretty fun actually. So
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, man. I've been telling you for a while to do the show with Javi because you're not gonna like look. You're never gonna get these times back, right? Like we joke and we crack a lot of shit but like these moments you can like when he's older you can go back and listen to these like oh man like when he's one day he's getting married or getting ready to go off to college, you can go back and listen to these shows that you guys are gonna do to be like he one day he was this young and you could like sit in your room and cry and then like go to bed or in your onesie or
right.
whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? But like nah, but for real, like I've always thought it was a good idea to do these shows because look, we grew up without real father figures, right? Like it was mostly our moms and just figuring stuff out. So to have those moments with your son is kind of cool, man. So I applaud you for finally doing it. Still mad that you didn't call it son and a half, but I'm glad you're doing the podcast.
We were thinking about it. It was number two. I don't even remember. We had
Yeah,
quite a few other names, but Mel was like, "What about Out of Control?" And then I think it was Javi who
because
said it.
Javi's out of control.
And then yeah, and
Yeah,
then Javi was like, "Oh yeah, how about
yeah,
we change the control to CTRL because it's a podcast and he loves computers and all this shit like playing video games."
yeah,
And so I was like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna have to bump that one up to 1A."
yeah,
So it
yeah,
was
yeah.
that
That's
or
a
son
good.
and
I
a
mean,
half.
it's a
The
good
son and
name.
a half, yeah, you came up with it. I don't know, like it didn't take you
Like
very
on the
long, but it
spot.
just maybe you've been thinking like this
It
dude is
was like,
short. You've just been waiting for the moment to throw it out
yeah,
there.
yeah. Of course, is what I do. No, yeah, I had that ready to go. I think I came up with that name like during the show, like when you had like mentioned it before. I was like, yo, son and a half. I thought that was like I was either that or like a fucking chat in WhatsApp or some shit.
Hmm.
But I remember like actually saying it. But yeah, man. So one of the things that I looked up like while I was starting my podcasts, right? Because I used to have the in my own words, and I
Right.
got this one. Is to make sure when you're gonna post it and upload them, is do a minimum of 5 episodes, right? So you let people like binge through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't want to just throw up one and then another one and then another. You want to bank five, so then you throw them all, and then you continue them how you continue because it's gonna be easier for you to do them, right? Like you're there all the time with him, so you guys can do as many episodes as you want. But you also have like other businesses and actual work to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many you're gonna do, but try to bank five and then drop it through the RSS feed, which I'm sure you know how to do. If not, I got you. And yeah, man.
Yeah, this kid's retarded because he was like he thought we were gonna do it like you and I do it, where he was gonna be in his room on his Mac, and then I was gonna be
Why would
down
you
here in
do
the
that?
office. I was like, no, we live in the same house. Like we'll just set up
So
and we'll do
dumb.
it in the same house. Yeah. Like why are we gonna do that? Use up all that bandwidth that it's
Man,
gonna affect the
when he
video quality. Like no, we're not doing that. And the video quality, like that's one of the issues that we had earlier, like before we started the show tonight. So one of the camera
yeah,
angles or one of the cameras that we used, we're using a different app, and like the quality wasn't the best. Fortunately, that's the one that was aimed at me, and I tried not to go to that angle a lot. It was
Right,
mostly the one that
right,
captured him and I, which was my Pixel, so it's really good quality, and
right.
then the one that captured him, which was the webcam. So like you saw, I showed you that clip yesterday where he became the producer. Like we have one, two,
Yep.
three, four, five different scenes, three different cameras. He was creating the shortcuts in OBS so he can just like hit the buttons to switch between scenes and I don't have to worry about clicking over. And
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
even know you could do that shit.
yeah, and I'm glad because like one of the things we talked about was him being punished because of his
Yeah,
lack of turning in work. I'm like, how do you get a 0 on a test that you scored 100 on? Does that
yeah, because you forgot to
does
hit
that make
submit.
sense? He got a 0 on a test that
That
he got
makes
100 on,
makes abs
and it's
makes no
because
sense.
yeah, it was a take home test, or he did it online on a on the web, but he didn't show
Right.
his work. And so I'm like, yeah, your teacher
Uh,
wants to know that you didn't just get the answers. And so he was walking me through one of his answers. He's in algebra in algebra one honors, and he
right.
walked me through it. I'm like, that's great. I need to do that shit on paper.
Yep.
I need to do that on paper. I get that you just did it all in your head and you came up with the answer. I need to do it on
That's
paper,
awesome.
and your teacher needs to see that you're doing it on paper so that if you didn't get 100 on the actual quiz or test, then she can see where you messed up. So
Hmm.
it's verifying a couple of things like that you know what you're doing, and she can help you where you got stuck, and to verify you're not cheating. So yeah, that was one of
Yeah,
the
of
things we
course.
talked about, even though he didn't want to.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it, right? Like when if well, shit, we didn't have the internet, like kids have internet now,
Yeah,
but now like I have like for my job and for my license, right? I had to do something called CEUs, right? Continuing education
units.
or
Yeah, I
some
do
shit like
CETs
credit.
and CPs,
Yeah,
continuing education, something. Yeah.
yeah, units. Yeah, so CE, whatever the fuck that last letter stands for. But and I do them like what a lot of times what I'll do is I'll open up two different tabs.
Hmm.
You know what I mean, and run through it. You know what I mean, and because I don't have to show my work, I'm just answering the question.
Right.
But if I had to do like math problems, I would just Google that math problem because I'm sure somebody at some point answered it,
Right.
and then I'd copy and paste. Oh, okay, here's the answer to what the x equals.
I think that's
Got
what
it.
people
We'll
did army
move on now.
correspondence courses.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just move on from that shit. Like I'm not gonna fucking sit. Oh, I'm at home and I got to play FIFA. I got things to do. I got to play Red Dead Redemption. I'm not gonna sit here and do all these 50 questions. Like let me just copy this. I would be so lazy.
So you're not
I wouldn't
actually.
even
So
like
you're not
write.
learning. You're not actually wanting to
No,
learn. I
no.
don't know if I would trust you. Then I don't know if you're a real certified professional
No,
in your
I
career
wouldn't.
field.
Honestly, I wouldn't trust me either. I'm great. I have a great personality and as far as dealing with patients, but no, when it comes to this shit, like it's too time consuming, bro. It's incredibly time consuming. I know what I'm looking at, but like the way they write shit and like the font is too small, like it hurts my eyes. Which I already told you earlier. Like I have to get like eye drops. I've reached that age where like I have to get eye drops and shit because my eyes were too dry earlier. Like what the
Yeah, I
fuck is
get some of
going
those
on
too.
with me, bro?
But I mean, like, look, we all
Fucking
make
suck.
sacrifices. That shit. Looking at you hurts my eyes, but we do this show. I gotta do it.
You know what? I just assumed that like you put the screen black since you're the one that like screen captures everything. Like I know what he's saying. I really got to do is hear him, so I don't have to like also look at him.
Yeah,
You
but
know
then
what I
if I
mean?
did that,
Like
I would have
that's
missed
the
out on
part
like
that
those
sucks.
shoes that you put up that your boy Danny created for you. So like
Shout
I
out to the
said, we all
boy,
make
man. Shout out to the,
sacrifices. I think
that's
you're the
true,
reason
son.
why I
Like
have
speaking
dry
of,
eyes.
it hurts. It literally hurts your vision,
It does.
dude. Like I'll briefly cover the game from yesterday. It hurt to watch them lose by 25, but I kind of expected them to lose. So I didn't go in there with, like I told you, like I didn't go into that game against Clemson with any kind of expectation. But
I
my
was about to
God,
say, I
did
was
they
like,
look
what fucking
undisciplined?
game are you talking about? I was like, the Heat played yesterday.
Yeah, no, no, that he played Friday,
Yeah,
and I think I predicted that terribly, right? Because I was like, man, I think they're gonna lose because of the Kobe jersey. But yeah,
yeah.
with the Canes, I expected them to lose, so I'm not as hurt by it. They only dropped to 15, so it's not too bad. They went out, beat UNC. They get another shot at Clemson. Clemson looked like a different class, so who knows? We'll see. That's basically my recap because they got man. It was 42-17, and honestly, Jonathan, it wasn't even that close. Like it could have been worse. Like it like Clemson didn't go down the field. It was all like screens, and they murdered them.
Who's their quarterback?
Murdered
Is
them.
it still that dude Trevor or whatever the hell his name is? I can't remember
Yeah,
his name.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
Sunshine from Remember the
Yeah.
Titans.
What is he?
Yeah, it's
Is he
still
a
him.
junior now?
Third. Junior. He's gonna be the number one pick,
Yeah, for sure.
and Travis Etienne, their running back, will probably be a top 10
Etienne
running
is a
back.
beast, man. I mean, that's the reason
Yeah,
why
and
they've
he's
been
got
successful. It's not just Trevor Lawrence, like Etienne,
no,
and out of the
no.
backfield as a
It's here's
receiver.
yes, he killed them yesterday. It was literally Trevor and Travis
Mm-hmm.
all day. And the crazy thing was, Danny, he's a teacher. He had two students playing in that game. DJ Ivy and Frank Ladson were both his students
Oh wow.
at his school. Yeah, so they covered each other. So I think they both scored touchdowns because DJ Ivy had a score on a block field goal, one of our two touchdowns,
Mm-hmm.
and then Frank Ladson had like a touchdown catch on. But I mean, it was a solid game until it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. But like it was never competitive. Like I never looked at that game like, oh, we're in this. Till like that block field goal, we were only down 11, but it didn't. It was never that. Like it looked too easy. Like their guys were running wide open, and
Yeah.
we couldn't get any room to breathe. So yeah,
But
but
that happens,
Pitt
I
on
think, with the Canes. I'm not gonna say with the Seminoles because the Seminoles are. They should be. If there was relegation, they should be
yeah,
relegated.
for real, bro,
But
for
the
real.
Canes, yeah,
Yeah, they're bad.
yeah, man. Like we've there's been a few years in the last like handful of years where they're out 4-0 or whatever, and then they play
Yep,
one of these big teams, and we're like, okay, we're about to
yep,
find out where they really stand, and then they get blown out by
yep.
30, and we're like, okay, well, they're
Yeah,
not as good as we thought they were.
yeah. And then what sucks after losing a game like that is it usually has a hangover effect.
Yeah,
It usually carries over to the next game and the next game. And now the crazy thing is Manny Diaz in his 4 bye weeks is 0-4. So if he
fuck.
has a bye week getting ready for the next game, dude, when they lost to FIU last year, that was after a bye week. When they lost to Duke last year, that was after a bye week. When they lost to North Carolina last year, that was after a bye week. When they played Clemson and lost yesterday, that was after a bye week. They actually look worse after bye weeks than they do week to week. It doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to be healthy and ready to go. But again, dude, it's Clemson. It's the number one. Clemson beats Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not taking this like as a grading scale. Clemson is a fucking monster of a team. Like they look like varsity on steroids, and we look like JV without the juice.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
Clemson has been
it wasn't
stacked
me.
for like Jesus, like 5, 6 straight years now.
No,
Five
dude, I
years.
think you go back like 7, 8, dude, because you could go back to like Deshaun Watson, right? Deshaun Watson was there for 3. They
Yeah,
had that other quarterback in between Trevor Lawrence. So like the last seven,
but
eight
for like
years.
what? For like a year between Deshaun and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah, they had that guy Kelly something
Yeah,
that
but
transferred to North Carolina that never ended up playing because they got that kid Sam Howell.
uh huh.
Like
Yeah, so about
it's
six.
never like
This is the seventh
yeah,
year.
six,
Okay, yeah,
seven.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the 7th year. And then they played their upcoming quarterback for next year that's Samoan. I think his name's like CJ. I'm not gonna try to say the last name. It's a lot of vowels and an L in
The
there.
Hulu.
So I apologize. Yeah, no, it's like you. It's almost like ukulele, bro. I'm gonna be. It's almost.
I'm sure he
It's
plays one
like
though for sure.
you. Yeah, no, 100%. First of all, the guy was like 6'4", 250, monster of a
Fuck.
dude. Like, yeah, no, it's a
He's playing
dude.
linebacker.
It's first of all, yeah. First of all, it's disrespectful that that guy's that big and that athletic, because they brought him in and you had like 2 runs for like 50 yards,
Hmm.
and then he like flicked the ball up as he's falling back 45 yards on the field, almost on a dime. I
Just
was
a
like,
flick
oh,
of the
great.
wrist.
Yeah, just like a flick, just like something that has slipped out of his hand and it goes almost on a dime. So no, it wasn't even that close though. But yeah,
Damn.
have you figured back to your podcast with Javi? Have you figured out like how you're gonna host it and spread it out to share it out to the world and all that?
I haven't. So today we recorded the first episode. We set up the Google account so we can put it up on YouTube. I think
Right.
what we want to do is we'll do it differently than what you and I do it. I think we're gonna stream it to Twitch, and we'll stream to Twitch while recording it here on OBS, recording it locally, and then we'll upload it to YouTube and other platforms. But I do have to get the RSS feed set up so that I can, so that it can be listened to on other platforms like podcast platforms, not just video.
Yeah, I kind of hate that my internet stops us from doing a lot of shit like that, like being able to stream to Twitch,
Hmm.
because I think we'd be doing our thing on there. You know what I mean, Twitch is like the new YouTube almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where like you put up everything you want, it's unlimited. It's like I haven't really understood Twitch,
Yeah.
like because you could like do subs and you could give out subscriptions and like it's coins and this and that. It's like this whole crazy dialogue that I haven't quite become fluent in. But I was like, man, I wish we could do that shit.
Yeah,
Like I
people
wish we could
engage
stream to
more in
Twitch.
Twitch because Twitch, like YouTube, you can do YouTube live. Some people do that, but Twitch, that's all it is. It's live, and so
Yeah,
people engage more. They engage more in the chat. So it's just like if you want to have that type of show where you want to engage with people watching, then Twitch is where you want to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Like Hassan Piker, a guy that I listen to a lot. Like that's all he does is he does his Twitch live streams. Then
Mm-hmm.
he just chops it up
Mm-hmm.
for his YouTube channel and stuff like that. So it's weird like seeing all the comments and shit like because it's all like gifs, emojis, and like different little funny things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was like maybe one day we'll be able to do that, but I don't know when the fuck that's gonna be
Whenever you move
because
out
I'm
of the
assuming it. Yeah,
1865, you're over
yeah.
there.
First of all, don't go back to slavery
I
times, right? Let's
was
go.
about to say, look, you
We
just got out. The Civil War is finishing for you.
fucking you out here with fucking antebellum and shit. You out here with Reconstruction. Fuck man, give me a little bit of, at least give me like 1972. You know what I mean? Where like America still hated black people, but at least they weren't slaves and had the right to vote. You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
2020. They still hate black people, but too soon. I
Valid
don't know.
point, sir.
Hey, no, actually, I'm glad that I mentioned
Um,
1865 because we were on our way to this Korean restaurant
1865, time travel.
called Bibimbap. The actual Korean food is called bibimbap, right? But the restaurant's called
Right.
Bibimbap, and we were on our way there, and we had just pulled out of the driveway, and this guy on his motorcycle drives by, and so I've been wanting to get a bike for a while. I gave it up because of issues with Mel and issues with my dog who wants to be murdered apparently. Um, and
Yeah, and obviously Javi
so
decides to want to start talking while you're
right,
recording.
so I had to mute her and be
Yeah,
like, "Hey,
yeah,
dude,
no,
I'm on the podcast right now." But
yeah, yeah.
no, because he's actually he starts to talk because he's coding right now. His cousin is showing him how to code. So she's in
Okay,
Virginia and she teaches and she's a computer science major too. And so she's showing him some stuff and giving him access to his platform. So he wants me to see it, which I will, but just can't. But anyway, so back to the story. Um,
literally not right now. Yeah,
we pulled out of the driveway and Javi brings up the facts like hey, mom, can it's like you should let dad get a bike. So because I gave up that dream of getting a bike because Mel's not for it. It's like I don't want you to die. She's like, get your bike. Just let me know when so I can serve you the divorce papers. When you sign the
it's a
purchase
valid
agreement.
threat and
Yeah,
concern.
yeah. So I was
Yeah,
like, okay, cool. So Javi's like, hey, you should let him get the bike, and I was like, and I said, Javi, I appreciate the thought, bud, uh, but you know what, I lost that battle, and he goes,
yes,
well, it's all right. Because you're gonna win the war. I'm like, no, 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 no. Here's what's gonna happen.
no, no,
I'm gonna lose the
yeah,
war
yeah,
because if
yes,
I get
yes,
the bike, the war is our relationship. There's gonna be a divorce. So I will have lost the war,
yes, yeah,
but I will
yeah.
have won the battle of getting the bike. And then I realized like that kind of reminds me of the only people that did that were these people that show Southern pride with the Confederate flag. It's like they lost the war,
Hmm.
but they're still
Yeah,
but they have that
holding on to
battle
the
where
battle.
they get to tell history however they see fit.
Yeah,
That was just funny to me.
that's so crazy. Like, dude, that still boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the Confederacy we've talked about often on this show, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to me, bro. Like, it doesn't. It does. Oh, so like I was watching a thing today, from TYT Sports, right, and that
Mm-hmm.
I've sent you before, and the guy, because I guess some like cheerleaders in Alabama,
I saw
took a
that.
picture with like, yeah, took a picture with like
Confederate
a
flag.
t-shirt with like the heart, the
Yeah.
Confederate flag, and it says "I love rednecks." I
I
was like,
love
oh,
redneck
I thought,
boys.
yeah, I love redneck boys. I was like, wait, I thought it was about Southern pride. Like again, it's all bullshit, right? Like we know what it really is, and all go
Yeah.
on, yada yada yada. But it's just it gets exhausting. I was like, so I'm just like, what? If we can't even debate civil rights and slavery, you know what I mean? Like on an actual intellectual level,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck is the point of that happened? What 160 years ago? what's the point of arguing the shit that's happening now? You know what I mean? That's currently happening when people are in their feelings.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, that's what like before we recorded, I was like, dude, like I think we've hammered our point of view down enough. Obviously we'll probably talk about it again next week because something wild fucking happened
Mm-hmm.
before the election. You know what I mean? But for right now, it's just like I'm good, bro. Like I was like, we can't even talk about the fact that that is a clearly racist, anti-American flag because they wanted to secede from the nation. I
Absolutely.
got nothing else for you.
Yeah.
Like you're literally holding that flag as an being anti-American.
That's part of our
Oh, that's my
heritage,
family.
our Southern
Yeah,
heritage. We wanted to secede from the Union. Where, yeah, we didn't want to be part of these United States, of these. Yeah. And I don't.
dude. Like the corner. If you're listening to this podcast or watching us in 22 days when John finally uploads this video, right? And well, first of all, it's gonna be done faster now that Javi is the creative director and gets his thumbnail up. Like the fact that we can't even discuss that is crazy to me. I don't for the life of me understand how that's even a thing still. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't like that flag is literally anti-American. Like in every sense of the word. Look, oh, what I was gonna say. Look up the Alexander Stevens, the Vice President of the Confederacy's cornerstone speech. It's literally all about how they wanted to own Negroes.
Yeah, white
That's it.
supremacy. I
And
saw
that's
the I saw the clips, or like, excerpts from it, but yeah. Yeah.
that's it. Like that's all they wanted to do. Like that was their entire economy. Yeah, of
But
course you're
that
gonna
is
make
the
a shit
truth,
ton of
right?
money when you're not paying anybody.
Yeah. That was the when they say states' rights. Yeah, states' rights to
Yeah,
use slavery to
yeah,
because that was the difference, where the South was dependent on agriculture, and the
hmm
agriculture was not done by white people. It was all done by,
nope.
slaves and maybe some indentured servants. And the
Yeah,
North was more
poor, very
industrialized,
poor white people.
very poor white people,
Yeah,
right? Because they were,
yeah,
they were also shit out of luck. It was white
yes,
rich landowning men. So
yes. That's it.
yeah, but that was your entire economy, just exploiting other people. It wasn't even like you're paying them minimum wage. It's slavery. You're paying them. You're beating the shit out of them. You're raping their women,
Yeah, yeah.
and then eventually that turned into
Selling
like
off the
stealing their
children.
culture and everything else. Ah,
Yeah, we go to appropriation. Dude, I don't know if you watched it yet. Lovecraft Country, right? They refer to Tulsa a lot.
yeah.
They got two more episodes left. There's only 10 episode season. They got two more episodes left. So like episode 9 is tonight, which I'll be watching. And then after the Heat win, knock on wood, who knows? Let's see. We'll talk about that in a minute. But dude, they refer to Tulsa a lot because one of the characters' wives, or like also mother, because this is father and son thing, like was a survivor of the Tulsa burnings, right? The Tulsa massacre.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, again, like it gets exhausting to talk about this, but like I feel like I always wanted to talk about this because I want it to permeate through the consciousness of some people, because a lot of people don't know this history, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and again, like you have your phone in your hand or in your pocket, and you could Google all this shit. The times that anytime black people in history have shown the ability to pick themselves up by their own fucking bootstraps and become successful and make cities and educate themselves, they've been murdered constantly.
Yeah.
So you've constantly showed them a lack of value or respect in their lives and dignity. So, dude, it's fuck. Hey, listen, fuck the Confederacy forever, forever, bro, forever,
Yeah. It's hard to
ever,
have
ever.
any conversation about moving forward and being, and talk about what's going on today, when you have people like you said that are still holding on to that Southern pride, and this is why I
Mm-hmm.
love this flag, and this is why we need these uh, monuments or statues up, which by the way weren't put up until the civil rights movement anyway, as a show of
Yep.
aggression and to instill fear in black people. So that's not about any heritage. It's hard
Mm-mm.
to move forward when you still have people that are hanging on to that storyline that has no real meaning. Like, those statues weren't there. They haven't been there for hundreds of years. They were there because they were put up in order to instill fear. They weren't put up in
Yeah.
the 1800s or whatever. It was right in the middle of the civil rights movement. So
Yeah.
it's hard to
So and
argue
this,
with someone who that's their argument, and they don't
yeah,
understand that their argument is invalid. It's yeah,
it goes back to what we talked about on the last show, right? Where like the group what do we call them, the group of the arrepentidos,
el grupo,
right? Like
los hombres arrepentidos.
los hombres arrepentidos, right? Because I refuse to call grown men boys.
Yeah.
Sorry, just not gonna happen.
Which, by the way,
Um,
talk about picking yourself up by your bootstraps. That's what that is. Like, black people in Tulsa, and then there was a
yeah,
settlement in New York by Central Park.
North Car, yes,
Yeah,
North Carolina,
yeah,
Rosewood in Florida.
Rosewood. That's
Yeah,
really picking
we're like,
yourself up by your bootstraps without any government help,
yeah,
like human friends.
none. Being hated on every step of the way and still succeeding.
Hmm.
That's picking yourself up by the bootstraps. But it goes back to that whole thing where like these are people that are now right, that have the same ability to look at history and educate themselves, that could differentiate from what was right and what was wrong, right? Like they never went through this. Like no white person today owned slaves for the most. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like no white person today, like to like have this pride that like your grandparents or your great grandparents, whatever the fuck, did, right? Like and understand that that's what Southern culture was. It's weird to me, right? Like I get I don't get it because I would never want to own anybody, but I understand the love and care for your great grandparents. But like I never met like my three times great grandmother.
Hmm.
Like I can't, you know what I mean? I don't know what she was like. I don't, you know what I mean? I can't fucking sit here and like, oh man, I'm so proud. Like I don't know what you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
all I have is like the stories that I might have heard from somebody if I was lucky enough to have my great grandmother alive, which I
Hmm.
was, but I was passed away when I was like 3. All I hear is like the stories that like my mom told her, that my mom told me. You know what I mean? But like it's just so weird to have that affection for people that you never met and be like, oh, this is Southern pride. Okay, but what Southern pride?
Right.
Let's again. Let's always like let's flesh that thought out a little bit. I mean, like Southern pride was not wanting to be part of America, but now you feel you're more American because you wanted to leave. You wanted your own shit because you wanted to like what are we talking? Like it's
Yeah.
so stupid, bro. Like it's so like none of this shit. If you have a longer than 3 minute conversation and not just a fucking blip, does any of it make sense? Any of it? Any of it?
Yeah. That's why I don't have those conversations with people anymore. It's just really you and I. Like, this is who I talk to, you, and sometimes I talk to Mel, but I don't even want to frustrate her with this bullshit.
Yeah,
You just, when you
me
actually
too.
talk it out and then really flesh out the discussion and the points, and you realize there really aren't any points to be made.
None.
No.
Like right, like it's so weird. Like again, like for people like who listen to this, like it must be so annoying because like we more than often agree with each other, but it's like because we're not gonna debate facts, bro. Like oh no, but it could have been this. No, no, this is what it was. There's no if ands or but about it. The reason why the South wanted to secede was to own black people for the rest of their lives because that was their only economy. Like it's that simple. I'm sure they had other little things, but for the most part, this was their entire economy,
Right.
raping and pillaging and selling off human souls for their own benefit and economy. Like that's all it was. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm fair skinned, even though in the logo I look darker than you. And so my ancestry
It's still
is,
offensive, and I look Asian,
but yeah,
and I look
you're
Asian because
covering the
I'm
yellow demographic. I can say that because I'm
yeah, exactly.
Latino
Thank you.
and my
Shout
wife
out,
is
China.
Asian. um, but well, first of all, I got to do my 23andMe. But like my ancestry, if we look back, is European. I'm sure, along with whatever
Hmm.
else is mixed in there. Um, I mean, I was born in Venezuela. My family is Colombian, so like we have the Spanish and the Portuguese and everyone else coming over. So that's just a
Hmm.
matter of, I don't want to say fact because I haven't done the 23andMe, but there's got to be some European in there, right? People came to South America. I'm not indigenous, and so there's got to be some European in me. That's just kind of the logic, right? Trying to reverse engineer where I came from. And so, saying that, I have had some people in my family that have passed, and I've had some conversations with people that still know them. And I mean, I knew them then, but I was a child, and I was like, oh, now that we're having those conversations, I'm like, oh, so and so was kind of racist, right? They were racist. They're like, no, they weren't racist. This was what was told to me. I'm gonna say this is almost word for word, but I think they said no, they're not racist. they're just scared of black people. I said,
Mhm.
oh, so that whole fucking bullshit narrative
That's
that black that's been told about black people, that they're monsters, that they're not human, that they're not, you know what I mean? Like
yep.
they're just this
They're
other.
other. Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay, so fine, that's what they were told, and they're not racist, but they're scared of black people. So I'm like, and then this person like, well, they didn't want such and such. Like they like black people, they're scared of them. It's not like they're racist. Oh, but they didn't want their son or daughter to be dating someone, or if they're,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're dating them, they damn sure better not marry them. Oh, okay, not racist though, right?
Not
Okay, I
racist.
just want to
It's
understand. Let's keep talking so that, because here's the problem with, like, I have some thoughts myself. Like I'm not about race, but just thoughts in general, and it makes perfect sense to me. And it's not until you say this shit out loud that you hear yourself and you hear these things out loud,
yep.
and you're like, this shit makes no fucking sense. And so I extend the
Yep.
conversations with them because they're defending this person because they were family and they've passed away, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to speak ill of the dead or whatever. I'm like, does that
Right.
not sound fucking ridiculous to you? That they're not. It's okay to say they're racist. You love them. They loved you, and
Yeah.
that's the time they grew up in. But that's racist. Like, is it bad to fucking acknowledge that shit? I,
Yeah. It
People
doesn't
don't want to
change
acknowledge
anything.
it.
Like it's. I think what it comes down to, and I've been thinking about this. I don't want to say quite extensively because it's just kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I think what people deem racist is just saying the N word, right? Like they don't believe like the stereotypes
Mm-hmm.
that, you know what I mean. Like they don't believe the stereotypes that they believe in,
Right.
or the wild shit that they say. It was like, hey man, but I just said the N word. You know what I mean? I'm not racist. I don't want black people to mix in with my family. I want to keep my family completely white and Aryan, but it's not. I'm not racist. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't said the N word. Like I want to keep my neighborhood good. I want to keep them on that side of the tracks. I'm not racist though. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as it's almost like the N word is what makes you racist. Anything other than that is just like something you believe in.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but no, there's no thought that like that's all encompassing the N word. Like you're giving the long verbose way of thinking of it, like, yeah, hey man, you're racist, bro. And look, and here's the thing, that's okay, but we could have a conversation once you're honest with yourself, and then we could like go into that further, like figure out why you're racist.
Yeah.
Like why did you think that way? Who told like education is the only way to stop this type of shit, and having those conversations without like having a screaming match, you know what I mean, with whoever that might be, is the only way to do it if you're patient enough. Because it gets frustrating because you're almost fighting off and educating an indoctrination of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they heard it from like their grandparents or their parents. It's passed down.
Right.
Right? It's never, that shit isn't like
You're
taught in
not born with
school.
that. Yeah. Well, it depends
You're
where you go
not
to
born with
school.
that. One,
If you're a cheerleader
depends
in
where you go to
Alabama,
school.
maybe.
Or a student in Texas, you just think of slavery as human commerce, so it's fine. But
Right.
I'm sure it has nothing. I'm sure that has nothing to do with white supremacy.
No.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with it, dude. What? It's white supremacy. Is such a weird thing. And Andrew Schultz and Charlemagne were talking about that shit, right? We're like, Andrew Schultz was like, well, I don't think there's any like specific laws. I was like, yeah, like maybe not, but there are laws that were written that are like meant to, like, that Joe Biden wrote. You know what I mean? In
Right.
1994,
Mm-hmm.
that attack on a specific community more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't like, oh, like people are expecting, again, it goes back to like the N word. People are expecting the laws to be written. If the suspect is black, they should get 10 times more years than a white person. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like you almost need it, like what we talked about before, right? Like you almost needed this overwhelming account of how racist it is to be like, holy shit, that's racist. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching Lovecraft Country that I constantly go back to. Like there's cops on this show that are like shooting kids, and you know what I mean. Like that never happens. You know what I mean? Or like harassing unarmed black people, or just being dicks. Because that, and then it's based in the 1950s. Like, oh, that's fantasy. That clearly never happens. You've watched fucking Selma with Martin Luther King.
Mm.
There's a guy that gets shot in a restaurant just for like saying, please don't shoot me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that never happens. Like again, I think it comes back to like you have to have like this overwhelming evidence and hope that the person is open minded enough to then even accept that. Because even that takes some kind of open mindedness, right? Because overwhelming evidence doesn't matter. Like you have a president right now that has COVID, and people are showing up to his rallies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like overwhelming evidence sometimes doesn't even matter as long as you have your feelings. So
Yeah. Speaking of
feelings over
rallies,
facts, I guess.
I got an email from my neighbor. I think I forwarded it to you about 30,000 people having a vehicle, I guess a car parade or something, a
Yeah,
honk for Trump.
Latinos for Trump.
I don't know. I know
Yeah,
that there's one here where I live. Of course, I live in a red state, red county, red small city. This dude's got his Trump Pence sign on the yard. He's got his Trump Pence flag, not an American flag, a Trump Pence or Trump
weird,
flag,
right?
not an American flag.
Weird. That's weird.
That is
That's
weird
weird.
to me. And
Very
yeah,
weird.
yesterday we were driving by,
Very weird.
and at this like main intersection by the they have a town square. That's the kind of place I live in. There's a town square, even though this is a city, or the city
That's
square,
very
the police station.
wow. Okay.
Uh,
Right.
yeah, this is like a small suburb within the city of Cleveland. But yeah, there were. I saw the signs. I was coming up to that main intersection, and I was glad that it was a red light, so I can really like take in what was going on. And it was a honk for Trump parade, rally, whatever. And I was like, why is everybody fucking honking? And as I approached the intersection, I saw the signs everywhere. I was like, oh god damn. And then I looked to my right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's some guy being interviewed by I'm guessing a local. They looked legit. You know, they had a camera that looked like it was legit, like probably a local news channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really wanted to get down. And it was just Mel and I. We were going to Lowe's or Home Depot. And I wanted to just pull over and park and start filming and just
Yeah.
embed myself, just see what was going on. She looked at me and she said, "Don't, just stop. Don't do it."
Well,
I just want to know. I'm
I think.
curious. Like I'm not going to instigate anything. I'm not going to go over there and ask questions. I just want to have my phone on and record to capture this
Mm-hmm.
to see what this whole thing is about. Like, what are people gonna say if they catch me recording? Like, I just want to capture this cool moment. I'm not asking anyone like, why do you believe what you believe? Why are you honking for? I just want
Right.
to see what's going on. Um, there was a lot of
Yeah.
honking.
Jordan Klepper does that enough for all of us.
Yeah, he does. He
Jordan.
does.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to take his spot. He does it better than
No,
anyone could, I think.
dude. It's. I don't. I don't understand. It's hard, right? Because it doesn't make any sense to me,
Yeah.
and I'm never going to understand it.
Hmm.
But it's also an ideology and a belief that I truly believe is dangerous. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't believe in fanaticism in any kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Like, which is why I can never like fall for a cult or drink Kool-Aid from any, you know what I mean? Like I'm just not built that way. Like I question, like Jay-Z told me, question religion, question it all, and I've stuck to that shit forever. Like I don't comprehend fanaticism, right?
Me
And
either.
that's what it is. Like that there's I'll never go to like, even if dude, like 100%, like, you know, I'm a Bernie supporter, social welfare and social safety nets all day,
Hmm.
right? I would never go to like a candidate and go to like a fucking parade of theirs. I think, you know what I mean? I would never put a bumper sticker on my car. I think bumper stickers are fucking stupid. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't, I want to put a flag in it. Like, I think that's just dumb. Like, I don't, that's just, that's, I don't find any value or worth in that type of shit. Like, I think it's so fucking stupid, bro. Like, I just think it's so stupid. Like my beliefs are my beliefs. Like, I don't have to, like, if you ask me and you want to have a conversation, I'll tell you what my beliefs are. But like, I'm not gonna, because I guess it's weird because like, let's say if I put like, hey, Social Security is socialism
Hmm.
as a bumper sticker. If I'm at a light, I don't want to like have somebody come and talk to me and try to like debate me as to why it isn't. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I don't want those public interactions, which is why I don't wear like trolling shirts or didn't make any of them for for our
Right.
store,
Right. Right.
because they're funny to us for us to talk about, but to like have it out there, it's, I think it's dumb, dude. Like we saw went to the mall yesterday and there was a guy there with a shirt that says Pelosi for prison. What are we, what, like why? Okay, and I want, and because I'm an asshole, like I'm thinking I want to go up to the guy and be like, why should Nancy Pelosi go to prison? I know why she should lose her seat. We can have that conversation,
Yeah.
but what did she do? And all he's going to tell me is the talking points.
Right.
And then I saw another lady with the word America needs a large cup of Joe, right? Like as a Joe Biden supporting shirt. I was like, why would you waste your time to wear this shirt?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your own, especially in this political climate, like you're looking for that debate in person, and that seems crazy to me.
Yeah, when you could just be wearing something like
Crazy.
this, like, let's ride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
You know what I mean? Or you could, you know what I mean? You could wear my Miami is in my DNA. Like you could wear something like that. Like I'm not trying to have those fucking. I've always thought that was so stupid.
Yeah.
Always thought that was dumb. I'm not. First of all, bumper stickers ruin your car, bro. Like if you put too many of them, like it depreciates the value on your car. It's a bitch to get off if they've been there too long.
Oh yeah.
Like the only bumper sticker, I never had a bumper sticker. I put because I've donated because I'm a universal donor. I've donated over a gallon of blood, right? So I had like the gallon of blood sticker, but I put that on my window where it's easy to take off. No big deal. But
Right.
what the fuck? Bumper stickers are stupid.
Yeah, but it's like the people. Even when I was in the service, and I would see people put, um, like U.S. Army or Rangers or Special Forces, infantry, and then on the front they would put like their rank, like first sergeant, sergeant major. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? You already sticking out. You
Yeah.
have a DOD sticker, which that's not required anymore. But before you
Yep.
needed a DOD sticker on the front on your windshield, so that it could get so that you could be allowed to go on post. Um, the funny ones were the ones that people have like their wife and the little family outline in the back window.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
okay, now I
Yep.
know exactly how many kids I'm going to kidnap today. How
Exactly.
many am I going to send over to
Dude,
this pizza shop over there in Washington D.C.? I got two boys and a little girl, and a
Jesus
puppy and two
Christ.
kittens. Okay, got it.
God damn, that was dark. Oh, dude.
I don't get why
Speaking
people do
of
that shit.
dark, I said this. I had this dark fucking joke earlier. I was like, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it. I was like, because my wife's Jewish, and I was like, yo, I mean, the very proponent, the very strong believer that I know what the Jewish guilt is like, right? Like,
Right.
I've seen the family, like, spend time with her family. It's a thing. I was like, Catholics ain't Jewish guilt is cool, but I know Catholic guilt. Like, mom, like Catholic guilt is so heavy they made you feel bad because they were raping kids. You know what I mean? Like they did three documentaries and a movie with fucking Michael Keaton and the Catholic Church is still out there like, oh no, come get this Eucharist. You better
Come
get the
get
fuck
this
out my
Eucharist.
face. You better get the fuck out my face with that shit. If it wasn't clear that I'm going to hell before, but that joke alone, it's a wrap, right? Like
Yeah,
it's over.
for sure.
It's definitely over. But yeah, man. Oh shit. Dude, are you actually gonna watch the game tonight?
Probably not.
At least two. At least check in the fourth.
I'll check. I mean, I
You know what I
check
mean?
in on my phone and I look at the stats and I'll see what the quarter by quarter, even play by play. Like I'm just not watching it on TV. It's probably because I don't
Right.
have cable or local channels and I don't bother to try to get them. It's like,
Well, you have Sling, right?
I have Sling, yeah, I do, but I have no, I have Sling Spanish for my uncle.
Ah, all
So
right.
I get like
Just
all
for your
the
uncle.
soccer games and the Colombian channels and some B in sports and all that stuff. Fucking
Right.
Uruguayan and Paraguay and Argentina. I love me some Argentine soccer. I
Nah,
know how
no, I'm
much you
out.
love Argentinian
I
people.
got, I got foot biz, fucking Nazis. I got foot biz. I think it's what it's called, or fanatis.
Fanatis,
That,
fanatis.
yeah, fanatis. That's how I watch mine. It's like $7.99. I get all the games,
Not all
but
the
I really
games.
just watch Real
I looked
Madrid.
into it and I was like, because I was trying to watch. So I saw the Colombia Venezuela game, and
Right.
I was born in Venezuela. Family's
Yes.
Colombian, most of
But
my family.
well, well
Um,
documented. So it's a win-win or a lose-lose,
right, yeah, but damn,
right?
3-0.
Yeah.
Like they scored those first three goals and early on in the first half, and then just kind of relaxed. Colombia did.
Yeah.
Uh, and Venezuela's got some talented players, but like a couple of their players couldn't make it because of COVID reasons and the quarantining reasons, and their
Yep.
team like one plays in China, another one plays for I think New York or somewhere in the MLS. Um, so yeah, they weren't there. Then they were big time players for them. But even if they would have shown up, like these guys were
Doesn't matter.
forwards and midfielders. Like
Colombia's better.
Venezuela's defense is terrible. They weren't going to do anything to stop those three goals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they would have
Mm-hmm.
been more aggressive. Who knows? But yeah, there was it was. I was a little disappointed. But for that, in order to watch that game, I thought I was going to be able to watch it on Sling. Nope.
Hmm.
None of the BN channels. Fanatis what didn't have it either. Like in order to watch it on that app, you have to get there's a particular package, like the World Cup qualifier package. So there's a one
Okay.
time per
I'm Fanatis.
yeah, one time per pay package or pay per view package, which is $30, and then there's like a
Hmm.
$49 package if you want to follow your team. So for Colombia, it would be like the Cafeteros. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, $49 so I can watch them. Like, what? I thought you guys had all the games for $7.99. Nah, it's like one of those bait and switch or
Ah,
$7.99, and you
got
get
you.
like this kind of the same stuff that I get plus the stuff that I get with Sling. It's $15, but then I get all these other channels that are just more than soccer channels. A lot of different Spanish networks.
So were you able to watch it on Sling?
I was able to watch it through other means.
VPN.
Yeah,
VPN. I got you.
you
I
do what
got
you
you.
got to do.
VPN in it. You got to do what you got to do, brother.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, the U.S. Panama sucks, and their Concacaf isn't having any games as far as the World Cup qualifiers. I think they start next month
Yeah.
in November, so we'll see. I mean, the U.S. hasn't played a game, but I'm not. The U.S. has great players like overseas, but they have a terrible coach for the men's national team.
Mm-hmm.
Like it should. I think they shouldn't have very many MLS players, but we'll see. It should be literally like Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah. You got fucking Weston McKinney. You know what I mean? Like you have all these European based players
Right.
that are American that should 100% be playing. Real quick though, Goran Dragic is active for tonight's game.
We'll see how
As none.
effective he is. So
I mean,
so is Bam,
I
right? Bam played last game as well.
yeah, Bam's been back for 2 games,
Yeah.
but he hasn't been as effective. I'm hoping that I'm sorry, this sounds terrible. I'm hoping Anthony Davis is slightly more hurt than he's letting on. And Bam, yeah, I know. Like, listen, man, this is what it is now. Like I was cool. I was cool letting the Lakers win. Like today might hurt a little bit more now, but I'm still going into it like they have LeBron, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I'm going into it with like I hope we win, but they've been talking a little bit too much. Like I didn't realize how much I hated Frank Vogel till he started talking. Like he gave excuses as to why they lost. I was like, hey, bro, you have the better team. You
Yeah.
have the better
You guys are
players.
healthy, better players.
There you don't give me an excuse. I don't want to hear, oh, those 2 late foul calls on Jimmy Butler
Yeah.
shouldn't have happened. You have LeBron motherfucking
Yeah.
James.
Jimmy put up
You
35 on
don't
you.
you
That's
don't
what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like, there's an entire. I hate when people. Oh, there's still 4 quarters that happen, which is like my issue with like MMA fights, where like how they score the fourth and fifth round higher
Mm-hmm.
than like for some reason than like the first, second, and
The
third.
championship
Right,
rounds,
like
right?
the championship. There's a whole fight that happened. There's a
And
whole game that happened. You could have stopped this shit early. Like this, you could have stopped Duncan Robinson that dropped you on 26. Like
yep.
there's no. I I, I hated like because he's so irrelevant to me as a coach. I hated him so much at Indiana because he was like that chirpy little coach
Mm-hmm.
where he's like wah, 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 like whines and shit.
Yeah.
And I honestly forgot he was their coach until he spoke after the last game.
You thought it was
I
just
legit forgot
LeBron,
the
the coach on the floor,
yeah
like Bill Russell.
yeah. I thought it was LeBron and like Jason Kidd is on the bench just like calling timeouts or like putting in substitutions because I'm you know what I mean like it's
Also,
like
Frank
and I'll
Frank
be honest
Vogel
like
reminds me of one of the Impractical Jokers.
oh my god
Look
he
him
does
up,
look like
Joe
one of the
Gatto. He
impact
looks
dude
just like that dude. Just like that
yeah
dude.
yeah dude fuck
And,
a
and
fuck Frank Vogel forever
yeah,
like dude, like I was cool. Like again, like I was cool, but like now, like you know what, Frank Vogel, you don't deserve a championship, bro. You don't get to complain when you have the better team. You don't, that doesn't make you know what I mean. If Eric Spoelstra that didn't have 2 of his best players for what 3 out of the 5 games,
mm-hmm.
and goes, hey man, it's the first of the 4. We don't give a fuck, and he knows he has the weaker side, quote unquote.
Right,
You don't get to as Goliath get to complain.
right.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
some bitch shit, bro. That's
exactly.
some bitch
And
shit.
so that I have caught that. I've caught like the comments, the articles, the press conferences. Yeah, when you get the people saying, "Hey, look," the other team saying we, not maybe word for word saying that we have the less talented team, but we but acknowledging the fact that they're playing the Lakers, who has
Yeah.
who have LeBron and have AD, and the Heat on
Mm-hmm.
top of that have these injuries. Like,
Nope.
What is Frank Vogel doing? Like just what is
That
so
shows
hard?
me
I don't know
weakness, bro.
what is so hard about people saying, "Hey, they just outplayed us." Like in every
Yeah,
facet of life, I'm not just talking about sports. Even like at work, I'm like, dude, just say you fucked up. Just say, hey,
yeah. Just
I do
own it,
that shit
bro.
all the time. I do that shit all the time. I'm like, hey, that's on me. I didn't see that email. I didn't see that. That's my responsibility. It's
Yep.
too easy to just do that. I'm gonna do it right now. That's my fault. Why is it that people can't just say that shit? Is it the cameras and because you might lose your job? Like you're already getting paid millions. What is it? I don't
Yeah,
know
you're
what the
fine.
difficulty is with people taking responsibility and saying, "Nah, they just outplayed us." Like that's what it was. It
Like,
was a
dude,
three
like
point
you,
game.
you know what you say there. You know what you say there is like, look, they get paid to play basketball too.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're here to win the championship too. That's it. You don't say, oh, we lost because of these two bad calls.
Yeah.
No, bro. You had 47 minutes and 30 seconds to win the game. Like, what the fuck are we like? What are you talking about here? Like when he said that, I was like, oh no 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 no. Now I got a problem. Now I have a vested interest in watching you motherfuckers lose. Like, cause
I have a vested
dude,
interest
you
in watching. I know you love LeBron. I'm not me not so much, even though the jersey's back there because
right
you
right
got it
right
for Javi. But
yeah
I'm not interested in him winning championships when like people are injured and when I just that Cleveland championship when they beat Golden State. I don't think that's an asterisk right there. I don't think that's a real championship. That's like the Ohio State championship.
yeah
Always coming
100%.
back
I
to
agree with you.
Cleveland. These championships they got, they're not real. Ohio State Buckeyes against the Canes back in '02. That
Yeah,
championship from by the Cavaliers when they beat Golden State. I don't think it's a real
true.
championship. And this was
This
the only time that I thought they were going to beat the Heat because I thought that LA had more talent overall. But the fact
yeah
that
no
we lost the Heat lost these players early on in the series makes you think like, well, look how well they're playing without these guys at full strength.
hmm.
And so I was like,
And with basically, dude, it's basically been rookies and Jimmy. Like, uh,
yeah,
I think this might be Duncan Robinson's like second year, but he wasn't. I don't know how effective he was last year. I don't remember him. You know what I mean? Like, and this year he's fucking doesn't miss a three, and he's a dead eye shooter. Like the thing is, like the I'll tell you, like, and not to say like, because I don't want to like say I changed my mind off one game,
mm-hmm.
but like the fact that LeBron couldn't close that game out has 100% made him number two, unless KD wins a couple more. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
Like number two for sure. Like it did because there's
Number
no
two,
reason.
what?
There's number two of all time, like
Just like that
behind
one
Jordan.
game, you went from him being
Yeah,
better
no,
than Jordan
no,
to that
yes,
one game. But
no,
that's
I
always been
well, no,
his thing.
I
That's always
said
been the knock on him.
I know I never thought like maybe I did say that, but like I hated the fact that he got disrespected for all
Yeah,
he's accomplished.
yeah.
Like he hasn't done enough, right? But now that he lost that game when it was literally just Jimmy. Like, look, love Jimmy Butler, love his game, fucking heart and soul of the team, gave it everything he's got. LeBron's supposed to be better than him, right?
Who's
LeBron
also
isn't.
AD.
You don't. And he also has AD, right? Like you're not that game isn't supposed to be competitive. The fact that it is shows, first of all, a lack of good coaching, and shows you how slim that team is. Bro, AD and LeBron went for 68 points. They scored 108. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's literally just them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now they're starting Caruso, fucking hair club for men, Mr. Rogaine over here. Like he's gonna make a difference. Now again, like literally what shifted me from the last game was the fact that LeBron should have won that game and Frank Vogel's comments. Now I'm in it. I mean, like that's why like yesterday, even during the Canes game,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm watching them get their asses spanked all over the field.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm thinking, I was like, you know what, man, fuck Frank Vogel. Like that's all like in the back of my head. That's all that was like circling. I was like,
Shit.
fuck this guy, man. Fuck this. Like, who the fuck is this guy's complaining about a team that you're supposed to beat? And like nobody's going out of their way to see Miami win. Everybody wants to see the Lakers win because of the story of Kobe and LeBron getting his title with his third team and AD getting like the story. All the narrative is LA. The
Right.
whole narrative is LA. Nobody's out here fucking cheerleading the Heat.
No, I mean from the
You know what I mean?
beginning, the whole
That
narrative was LA, the Celtics. That it goes back to
yeah,
that series. Like everyone was giving Miami
exactly.
the all the credit in the world. Like throughout the regular season before COVID. They're talking about how Miami was hot, was doing well, playing well together, and then in those first couple rounds. But then once they started playing the Celtics, granted they were not the favorite, but that entire storyline, like every time after every game, these analysts would find an excuse to say why it was Boston
Yep.
that lost the game and not Miami that won it. And I
Yeah.
get it.
Was
Again,
that
that's
stupid?
the LA and Celtics, rivalry.
Hmm.
But
Hmm. And it goes back to like what you would mention, right? What you would talk about is like, dude, they're saying that like, oh, they're leading for like 65% of the game. Yeah, but if the clock strikes zero, it's about who has more points. Like,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck if you're by 60. If I win by one, I still won. Like that showed that like it was so stupid. But yeah, there's that narrative where like, yeah, dude, like literally the Frank Vogel comments completely shifted me in this series, bro. And the game starts in 20 minutes. So let's get ready to wrap this bad boy up. I know you're not gonna watch. What are you gonna watch? Anime with Javi?
no, he's not allowed to watch anime either. No anime, no
Oh, that's right.
electronics, no phone,
He's on
nothing.
punishment.
We've been doing
He's
a
on
lot
punishment.
of
Good,
yeah. The only
good,
time he's doing
good.
it now because his cousin's showing him how to program, and he's taking a design and modeling class, like a programming intro to programming in seventh grade. And so he really likes it, and he wants to program, like he wants to make video games. So his cousin's
Right.
showing him how to program with Java. So he gets to do it.
I reach out to the other Jonathan too because he literally created a video game before,
Yeah,
so he knows about all that shit. Yeah, that's what he does. Well, he does IT security
yeah.
or something along those lines. But yeah, he's definitely somebody good to reach out for. It was almost like a Mario Brothers, like that type of thing, like Mario Brothers levels. It was pretty cool. I
Mm-hmm.
played it a couple times.
Okay.
He's really hard on himself, and like he dropped. He's like, man, I don't know if I can like keep doing. I was like, yo, I want to keep fucking playing, motherfucker. Like, send me the next level, bitch. Like,
Right.
this ain't about you anymore.
Oh,
This ain't about you.
murder.
Yeah. All right, my brother. Look, let's try to catch up sometime during the week
Yep.
and run another one. You know how it is. We still have to do another Patreon episode.
It's been a minute.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's a good talk, man. Was it fuck Frank Vogel forever?
Yeah,
I just want to end on that note.
I agree.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go Heat.
Let's go Heat, baby. Game 7. Come on. Force that bitch.
I'm out. Peace.
Peace.